what are autism spectrum disorders? First, is the concept that it is a spectrum. We used to categorize diseases, and once we knew what the outcome was, once we knew that it was a distinct outcome like autism, then we would go about looking for a single cause, whether it be genetic or environmental. So everyone would look at every possible cause or effect and say, well, my child wasn't exposed to this, or my child doesn't have that gene. And what we've learned and what took a while and still setting in with people is that it's a gene-environment interaction. Now, the problem is people are now looking for a specific gene and a specific environmental cause. That's still a linear and cause-effect relationship. What we really have to move towards is the true epigenetics and the true mechanisms of that, which is stress mechanisms. Stress mechanisms aren't when you're driving down the road or your office politics getting on your nerves. It is fundamentally the body's about too much to do and not enough resources to do it. That is what the definition of stress is. But stress is also, as a framework, how we interact and adapt and are programmed by our environment in order to best survive. So when we think of that singular cause and effect, we think of what are we looking for that's causing this damage that caused out autism. And a lot of people out there saying autism is just different. We're just differently programmed or differently born, genetics. And it's really a bit of a misnomer that it's either or. It's really an interaction. What's happening is we're having a stress mechanism amplification of traits that were already there. So they're born just different, but they're different because of an impact from the environment. But it wasn't the damage from the environment. That's classically how we would look at it. But it's not the damage, it was the threat of damage. So there doesn't have to be any damage involved. And damage itself doesn't cause autism. It's the programming set into play, just like any other ecosystem, is once you have a message that this is a threat, the system now changes version of itself. Which is why it's unique to every single individual, and yet we see a pattern of dysfunctions that we can clearly say are within the autism spectrum, because they're all stress amplified and stress compensations that happen within the body, whether that's from attention, whether it's rocking and stimming as soothing behaviors, excessive attention issues, over attention, under attention. Some people have massive information to choose from. Some people's information gets bottled neck. So you have this huge and large variation, and you even get some savant skills, because with all of that extra information and all the excessive sensitivity, you also gain a lot of intelligence with the memory and with the profound use of association and categorizations abilities. So it is amplified personality features with trade-offs. The trade-offs come in because, again, we looked at a science that was very linear, and so we separated all of our systems of the body. So our organ systems, our immune system, our nervous system, vision system, digestive system, we categorized them all out and separated. And when you go, again, to look at how and what happens with autism is you have to combine and integrate those systems. They all interact with each other. They all depend on each other. So just like with if your brain is becoming oversensitized to your environment, your gut is going to become oversensitized to your environment. If your brain is hogging a lot of energy, your digestive system may not get enough energy. Just like you would be battening down the hatches for a hurricane coming in, you're going to make some really great windows, but your plumbing or your electrical system may suffer for that. And that's the pattern we see in autism. That's all of the functions and dysfunctions. And the way things are acting out and acted out is because we've destabilized our systems. We've destabilized our ability to handle stress. So it's not stresses directly, it's our destabilized ability to handle stress. It's our stress resiliency that's been compromised. And then you get a second hit early in life or within the prenatal environment, and that's sort of the trigger. So to understand autism, we have to understand how, pesticide exposure and endocrine disruption can set the stage for other stressors to become more stressful, and social stresses and all of those things. So this is a book that I'd like to get published. I'd like to get this message out to the world, because I feel it's not only important, it's crucial that we understand autism and understand how to help these folks out there that are adults and the children during crucial developmental times. And to understand stress mechanisms is to understand why some respond well to the dietary interventions and some don't respond to the dietary interventions. Why you have to use multiple interventions to recalibrate or readapt a system. and to stop approaching it as if it needs to be fixed or you need a drug fix, because drugs can only help so far. They can only help to create a platform for other interventions to then be more successful. So an interactive approach is truly looking at how all of the different brain and nervous system and digestive systems are interacting to create these outcomes. This is a massive group effort and a massive group endeavor that we can do, and I think we can be successful at.